It'll be real good for all the audio people. See now, that's a pretty good dead, except for the movement that just happened. I would be anxious about, like, has she never gotten bit by laying there and then you rolling the chair back quickly?
She doesn't usually lay there as part of it. This is a new spot to just flop on the ground.
I'll
But
swap you. Here's my dog laying in my bed, and whoops, no,
very cute.
that's Yoshi. That's Cooper laying in bed right there, and he is shedding. He's shedding.
Oh,
He's shedding. So
oh,
that
and
means
you're allergic to dogs.
that means the amount of
Oh,
laundry that I'm gonna do has just infinitely increased because I have no self control and I just let the dogs sleep with me now, because they're old. So I I I feel like when animals get old, I just stop enforcing all rules. I guess it's probably that way with people too, because like I know full well that there's probably, all things considered, less than 2 years of life on this planet, right?
mm,
Not to start with a sad dog story, but like the dog's old, so the
uh-huh.
dog
Yeah,
does
yeah.
anything the dog wants, including increasing the amount of laundry I do and making me
Mm.
slightly more allergic. I wish that I had the willpower to not do that, but here we are.
Well, yeah. It's a good thing you're not allergic, Grandpa.
The more that he watches Fox News, the more that it might actually be the case. Hey, Cap.
Eh,
People are probably the most astute people. The people who are talking to us on Twitter, and the people who notice,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh hey, there's not an episode. What happened? It's Tuesday. I have a routine, and I fucking like my routine, Joey. And you're
Yeah.
ruining it by having a thing that is other than the show going on in your life. And it is Tuesday. It's past the point where we normally release the episode, which, by the way, is 3 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays. It's 12 hours past that, but we are sitting down and time stamping and recording because I didn't want to miss a week, but I also was feeling like too much of a piece of shit last night to do the show. So here
Yeah,
we are.
you had a very late night. What were you at the office until almost midnight for?
I'm doing a commercial for HyperX microphones.
Oh,
And,
okay,
and I
okay.
was filming it, and I was actually filming, not last night, but I was doing some pickups. I was in a janitor's outfit, throwing away a box in a dumpster, and then people were hiding in the dumpster with giant confetti cannons, so it was like a celebration when the box got thrown out. And then the dumpster scared me, so I jumped away from the dumpster onto not a crash mat, but a wooden pallet that I found that was slightly off screen,
Okay.
because I didn't want to jump onto the floor, and that was slightly better. But I convinced myself that I had to jump because there's nothing that makes me happier than doing pratfalls. Which was great until I remembered in that moment, when I hit the ground and kind of jarred myself a little bit, that on Friday of last week, I did something fun at the dentist, which was get a dental implant, which I will go into gruesome detail about in a moment. But the short version of that story is that there's a new titanium screw in my mandible, and
See that?
yeah, I sent you a picture immediately.
Yeah.
The thing about that is I was just starting to feel good enough to like not notice the fact that I was like on ibuprofen and taking antibiotics and like just the general pain and soreness that I was suffering. So I did the stunt, and then I'm like, ooh, I'm bleeding a little bit in my mouth. That was probably a bad idea.
Mm,
And I'm pretty sure that I ripped one of my stitches. Oops. Doctors hate
mm.
me. As soon as I feel fine, I feel like most time you go to the doctor and they do something to you and they're like, okay, just take it easy for like, a week or two. Generally, I interpret that as take it easy until you feel like normal or 90% normal, and then do whatever the fuck you want. Which
Yeah,
which I
no,
think is
that's not what they mean at all. No.
yeah, I
They
think
mean take it easy, Joey, and let your body heal. And don't be a dumbass for several weeks.
so. This isn't the only thing that I did stupid yesterday. This isn't the only reason
Okay.
I was in pain, because also what was ordered for dinner was a ramen restaurant, one of my favorite ramen restaurants in West LA, called Killer Noodle. And Killer Noodle is dope. Free plug. They should definitely appreciate this on the podcast. I should send this to them. Free plug for Killer Noodle
100%.
on Sawtell. They're a spicy ramen shop. Forgot that I wasn't supposed to eat spicy food because there's still like a mildly open wound with stitches in my mouth.
Yeah.
So that also sucked. Killer Noodle's fun.
Aren't you supposed to avoid the sucking motion? Don't they tell you to avoid straws? Jesus Christ, Joey. He's showing me an empty bottle of boba with a orange, bright fluorescent orange straw sticking out. Is there any, have you done everything on the list that you're not supposed to do?
Well, I didn't do any of that stuff for the first 72 hours.
Okay.
Now, out of all the stupid stuff that I did, the straw felt fine, but if you do have dental things and you're getting stitches in your mouth, I highly recommend actually not using a straw and sticking to that rule, because the fun thing is if you blow your clots out, which a sucking motion does with a straw, you get a thing called dry socket, which I promise you is one of the most painful things you can experience. Really sucks. Shout out to anybody who got their wisdom teeth out and didn't listen to the doctor. I did, but I know a lot of people who didn't. Anywho, so yeah, it's been I've had a wild half a week. So I have had a missing tooth for about, I don't know, almost 3 years.
What happened to it? You woke up one day and it was gone? It just wandered away, lost track of it, didn't lock the gate?
You know those dreams? It was like, Dad, my teeth was like, I need cigarettes, and then suddenly...
Wait a minute, I don't smoke.
I'm trying, because I could go so into detail of this, but the reality is no one cares, so I'm trying to find the right version between abridged and detailed to actually be semi-interesting. When I was 3 years old, which is when your first set of molars are forming, I had an incredibly high fever as a child. Like, we're talking like 104.x. Like basically needs to go to the hospital, might die, like has a crazy high fever, organ problems, right? Coincidentally, that's the same time window that the enamel on your teeth are really forming. And there's a strong positive correlation to sickness and fevers in that time and enamel not forming properly on teeth. So my first set of molars, which grow in when you're about 8, came in not necessarily deformed, but the enamel on them was bad, like almost soft. So I have no dental problems, with the exception of those 4 molars. I've had oodles of work done on them. Oodles. The tooth that is missing, for example, which is probably the worst one, had 2 separate root canals on it, probably like 10 years apart. The first root canal when I was a child, the second root canal when I was more of an adult. And after the second root canal, they couldn't fully save the tooth. It cracked at the root up in my jaw and then proceeded to start like leaking ickiness. So I got an x-ray and there was like a pocket of like abscess up by my sinus, and the dentist is like, oh, that probably really hurts you, right? That's why you're here. And I'm like, actually, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, look at the x-ray. And I'm like, oh, that looks not good. He's like, yeah, that's really not good. We're going to have to pull the tooth out. And I'm like, but really? And he's like, yeah, like really got to pull the tooth out. And because I'm a piece of shit who lives in a capitalistic society, the first thing I wasn't thinking about was, health insurance or time or my own health. I was thinking about all the money that was put into that tooth, mostly by my mother. 2 root canals, a crown, 2 crowns, fillings. Like, that tooth probably had at least $5,000 to $7,000 of work into it to like save it in my head. And now they just have to pull it out. Pulling teeth, crazy process, by the way. You know what's crazier than pulling teeth? Implants. Do you have any dental implants? You have any teeth pulled?
No, I do not. And no, I do not.
Do you have like any major dental work done? Like no root canals, no crowns?
No root canals. Don't think no crowns. I need to go to the dentist though, so that may change.
You should. I'm pretty desensitized to the dentist because I had to go so much when I was younger. Also, my mom was a hygienist, one of the teeth cleaning people. So like I just generally knew a lot about teeth. I always impress dentists when I go because every tooth has a number attached to it.
Yeah.
I can tell them which number tooth is problematic, and they're always like, whoa, you're so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And
that's
then
me.
everybody in the room applauds, right?
They're probably like, wow, this guy, when he goes to bars, like everybody just latches. Like he is the life of the party because he knows his teeth number. So I had number 3 extracted, and it's been
That's his move with the women, you know. He goes, he gets a drink, buys her a drink, and then he has her play a little trick where he exposes his teeth and she pokes at them and he can tell what number she's poking. And next thing you know, they're making out. It's flawless every time.
it's
Works every
true,
time.
yeah, because I'm like, oh, you can try with your tongue, like it's easy. Like we're already doing mouth stuff. That's disgusting.
Uh,
Anywho, so my first dental implant, and this is one of those things that people who aren't American will love to hear, because my understanding of everyone who's an American is they love to make fun of the fact that our health insurance / medical system is extremely expensive and broken. So
yes.
for anyone who loves that you can just like take your pants off and stop masturbating out of this story. First quote to get an implant, $6,000. Second quote,
Ooh,
because I
Mamma
wanted to
mia.
shop around,
Yeah, of course. Very important.
$7,000.
Ah. First guy
Because
wasn't ripping you off. It just is, in fact, that expensive.
because the way that dental insurance works, they don't cover implants most of the time. It's very specific circumstances that they do. And because my health insurance changed between the tooth being pulled and the tooth needing an implant, because in America, you can no longer be on your health insurance plan when you turn 26, your parents' health insurance plan when you turn 26.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got it extracted December when I was 25. A month later, I turned 26, had to get different dental insurance because the insurance changed, was not covered. Therefore, no one will help me with insurance for the implant. So it's all out of pocket. Crazy, right? I ended up
Yeah.
going to the UCLA dental clinic, a university dental clinic, and decided that the best course of action, because I needed to save money, was to have student dentists do it.
Oh, God.
So pros and cons to this. Cons.
Okay.
It takes about 3 months to get an appointment, and from walking in the door to getting inspected to actually having the procedure has been 5 months, because you have to go through so many different steps, because you're not just there for the thing you need, you're basically a tool for the dental student to practice on, right? So I get assigned someone who's like a real dental student, and then they have to like practice a bunch of different types of exams that I don't necessarily need, but like I'm just a patient of theirs for them to learn with and help. I'm a real human mouth. So it's very time consuming. The pro to that is that I paid less than $2,000.
Oh, not bad.
So that's good. That was worth it in my estimation. My mouth was so fucked up, dude, that they had to do what they call a sinus lift, because my sinus cavity was so close to like where the root of my teeth are that there wasn't enough bone to put the titanium screw into. So they had to go in and artificially lift my sinus up by packing the bottom of it with cadaver bone from a cow.
How did they do? They just put it through the hole
Correct.
of the tooth? They just shove bone up there?
Yep. They open up. Some people probably really hate this. I'm sorry.
Some guys out there, I regret asking for the episode.
They cut into your gum. They expose your
Uh-huh.
literal skull, because it's your bone, right? Like,
Right,
it's your
right,
literal
yeah.
skull that they're drilling into. They
Yeah.
drill a hole deep enough to reach the sinus cavity, which for me was shallow. And the sinus cavity isn't just like a chasm, right? Like it's not just hollow. There's actually a membrane around it. So they can't puncture the membrane. Otherwise, they would be like, a path from my sinuses out my teeth, which is suboptimal. So they have to casually push the membrane up, slowly packing it and pushing it more towards my cranium, more towards my eyes, by adding more layers of artificial bone and compound and amalgam and stuff, right? So it's a very slow process. So the actual time that I spent getting the sinus lift and the implant was close to 5 hours on Friday.
Wow.
They had to numb me
Oof.
with shots and lidocaine 4 different times. And also because it's someone who is like a dental student,
Yeah.
who a different dental student than the first one. Like this is like a PhD dental student who's like going on to like learn how to do implants. They're there with 2 professors, 3 younger dental students themselves. So I am now like just a body on display for medical science, just laying there with my mouth open for 5 hours with all these people around me. And then like, the professors are getting in there and taking mirrors and like trying to show them like different elements of my mandible and my skull. And I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. I know that I'm being helpful right now, but holy fuck, like 5 hours is a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Jesus.
Everyone was like, oh, did you get like laughing gas or did they just put you to sleep? And I'm like, nah. I drove myself there. I sat there for 5 hours. I drove myself home. I was sad. I took a lot of naps. I took some ibuprofen. You know, it's crazy when they put the implant. When the implant is like the little titanium screw that screws into the bone.
Yeah.
They do it with a torque wrench. Like a socket wrench.
Yeah.
Like you would change your oil with or put together IKEA furniture with. It's just a wrench.
I'm trying to imagine that scene of you with your mouth open and the dentist just taking. Oh, that's weird.
Anywho,
Yeah, that man.
Anywho, so I've had better weeks if I'm being honest.
Sounds like it.
Last week I was in emotional pain with all the Dota stuff. This week I'm in physical pain and monetary pain, which I think is both physical and emotional. So like next week is my week. Anyone who's watching the video is like, oh man, Joey, like you still move back home. How come you haven't set anything up? And I haven't. I've done nothing. This is the same shitty setup that I put together to manically record with you last week. It's still here. Like I have not set up my computer still or my office or anything. Like it is. I am so behind on life, and I think that I'm probably like 3 to 4 days out from like being in a happy place. But yeah, it's I've had a time. How have you been?
My week has been super hectic and full of crazy events too. This morning I got my hair cut.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. First haircut I've gotten in a year and a half because, I was shaving myself bald. So now I'm actually in the process of growing out hair. I get a new camera tomorrow.
Ooh, what kind of camera? Like for broadcasting or for
it's whatever camera Jenkins uses for his setup. I'm getting the same.
A Sony A5100.
Yes, think
wow.
so. Tomorrow I'm going to the beach.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I got.
Fuck, I think we're on different wavelengths right now. I don't want to say that I'm jealous. I don't want to say that I'm jealous because I don't there might be a bunch of other stuff that you don't want to tell me or share, but I'm mildly jealous.
No, my life is chill right now because no TI. This would be about the time that I would be going to see my mom before I go to TI. But that all got delayed, so we decided we were still going to go up there anyway. And the dates that we decided on, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say. Are we allowed to talk about that thing? I think we both know that there's like a conflicting thing, but I don't think anyone's talked about it.
There is a conflicting tournament going on during those dates that I was going to go see my mom. So. Won't say anything past that, but yeah, I was just like, are you kidding me? I knew it. I knew that was gonna happen. Like, because I told my mom like I can't plan any of my life until people decide what the fuck they're doing before TI, because something's gonna come up And we do it anyway, and sure enough, the exact dates, um, the exact dates, were the ones that we went up to. Also, I just got a very important email, so trying to figure that out. Sorry, that's why I started trailing off there.
Are you
Talent stuff is going on.
are you flying or driving north?
Flying.
Fun.
Flying. Yeah, we only drove that one time. I'm not sure if I would do that again or not. It
It's
was
a
like,
lot. It's a lot.
yeah, it's a long drive. It's a
Why
long
don't you
drive.
just ask potential tournament organizer to book both you and your mom? You know, for like maybe a group stage game. You can sit there with.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't. It would have to be such a significant amount of money that they would have to offer for my mom to go. Because my mom's like, she's still working. She's busy. She works as
No, do a remote cast. I'm saying you two, like we just need two
remote.
microphones. Do
No,
a
this isn't remote work. I gotta go there. Tournament organizers are done doing remote work. They say you come to us now if you want your full money.
fucking COVID, man.
So
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we can talk about that. I guess that's as far as it can go. I'm sure that there'll be news immediately. I'm soon-ish, probably. There's a long time before TI. There's a long time before TI.
yeah, and there was going to be some tournaments going on before TI. It was just a question. Like, we know it's going to happen. It's the more interesting question is who's going to attend, right? Are the secrets and are the secrets of the world? Are they going to go? Secret, e.g., like those top tier organizations, top tier teams, are they going to go to this before TI? Because there is still a huge window, so it's not like they're really going to be revealing anything. They'll still have plenty of time to rest and then
Especially
start
if
boot
the patch
camping and all
doesn't
that.
change, right? Because one can
Yeah.
presume that there's going to be some kind of a gameplay update before TI, and if mysterious pre-TI event happens on current patch, in theory, you're not really divulging much for TI anyways.
Yeah. So I think I assume most teams will go, but it's entirely possible there's some people who just like, no, I just want to take a full out on break. Also, like, are the tournaments going to be like again? Are they going to be entirely Western? Are they going to include any Chinese teams? Kind of doubtful because of Corona. It's like only a major or TI itself, right? Are tournament organizers going to go above and beyond and deal with that headache? So most likely it's just going to only be Western teams, in which case it'll be fun to watch and fun to be a part of and stuff like that. But it won't necessarily tell you anything before TI, right? So
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I am interested in so many things about that. Not just who's attending, not just the level of effort that'll be put into it, but also just what broad viewership will look like. And if people will be receptive to it or excited for it, or if it'll be like, it's not TI. I'm in an interesting conundrum right now because I'm trying to plan out what the next, I guess, rest of the year looks like for Liquid and any Dota directly or Dota tangential content and media and videos and stuff they want to do. Because the cynical part of me that is someone who has been around the scene for a while, kind of understands what works, what doesn't work, at least to some degree, or at least can pretend to, knows that when TI happens, it just very much consumes everything. And no one is really looking for, frankly, a team that didn't qualify for TI to do stuff around TI or anything that isn't TI related, right? And people also aren't looking for like tangential Dota content. Like I'm sure that there is a large handful of people that'd be really excited if we got like, Aiden and Mickey doing like something fun together, right? Like there's probably people who would like, oh, I really like that. That's different. But it's like, what is appropriate to do in this lull period? Especially when you're dealing with people who are still rightfully upset about their current situation and also like a community that is just kind of in flux. So that's like a problem that I don't think has a perfect solution that I've been spending some time thinking about is what can we do now that we have all these people who can in theory like make cool stuff, you know?
Yeah. Especially since for you guys it may be fine, right? Because I think Liquid has a multi-year contract, but for for other teams they go year to year, right? So their contract may just be ending uh, after TI. They may have to like do an extension or whatever to be able to keep it going for the actual event itself. But it's like there isn't just like a whole lot of incentive for players to do anything. There's not like maybe the team is already broken up if they didn't qualify for TI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they've already gone their separate ways. So it's not like the sponsor is has the team owner can really do anything with that. Maybe you could take one individual player and do something, but it's definitely a problem of TI and how it just consumes everything in its path and nothing else matters.
It's also, I mean, I don't want to say problem because I don't know if it's inherently a problem, but by and large, Dota people don't really want Dota tangential content. They want to watch like high level tournament games, and there's a subset
Yeah.
of people who are interested in like, I don't know, Insania goes to the Magic Castle and learns how to do magic. I don't know. That's a bad idea. But like, I can make the coolest piece of non Dota content in the world with Aiden, but I don't
People
know if
won't care.
people are
Community.
there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
what do I really do? Because if I go too far away, I'm only marketing towards people who care about Aiden or big Team Liquid fans, either for the org or for that team in specific, which exists, right? But I'm spending a lot of resources to make 1 to 5,000 people happy, right? Maybe those are estimates versus
Yeah.
I guess I could go round everybody up and make like some cool educational content, but am I really going to do that better than like people who want to watch Jenkins or people who are like watching Brian's stream, right? Like,
Yeah.
I probably don't want to compete there. It doesn't make a ton of sense. It's like we have these assets. We have these human resources in the form of these players who are inherently charismatic, but they didn't qualify for TI. TI is coming up, and I don't know what to do with them that people would be even a little bit interested in. I don't have this problem with the League of Legends team. If I took my League of Legends players and just fucking took them to go play laser tag and filmed it, people would like jerk off over it and be like, "Oh, this is so much fun. I love seeing these people hang out. Like, it's so cool behind the scenes, blah blah blah, blah," right? Not in Dota. People don't care.
Dota community definitely does not consume much extra content, and when they do, it's usually focused in like two different avenues, right? It's very like tournament content that is like that same video, but it's tied into an event that's already pre-existing, so there's already viewers who are going to be watching. There's going to be people who watch the video going into an ad break or something like that, and then that gets shared or whatever, and like it's passed around because it's a good piece of content and people just watched it anyway because they were interested in watching the tournament, and that's how it kind of organically got spread. Or it's like, learning, like you said, it's educational content, because people really want to get better at Dota, and solo queue is a hellhole that people just get sucked down into and just lose their lives going and going again and again and feeling like they're not improving. So they're desperate for anything that will teach them how to be better. Cap, can you tell me how to get out of the ancient bracket? No, dude. There's no magic secret. There's no magic word or special hero that you pick in order to get out of your bracket. I can't give you that. I could lie to you, but no, there isn't. There isn't anything there.
You have to look inwards towards yourself.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, also everybody's problem is different, right? Every ancient player has a different problem that they have, right? So,
Mine is I guess if I knew, I wouldn't be where I am, right?
That's true. You can know what your problem is and not necessarily be able to execute on it.
Mine is
My current problem is
contributing to
paying
team
playing
fights.
my current problem is playing Pudge all the time. That's my personal problem. I know it's a problem, but I'm gonna keep doing it anyway.
But you're having fun, right? And at a certain point, that is important.
Yeah, I'm also a dank Pudge. Like I'm actually pretty sick. If I'm gonna look up my Dota buff right now to see. I bet I have over a 50% win rate on Pudge, of late. But then again, when I was spamming Techies, Pudge, Hoodwink, that was not going so well for me. That was not so hot. Pudge 54% win rate, 24 games, not bad. Not bad at all. That's pretty good. Hell,
Well,
729 has been okay. Oh God, Hoodwink. 31% win rate. Broodmother, 30% win rate. Viper, 30% win rate. Those are all the heroes that I discovered at the Animature and decided, Kunkka, 33% win rate.
how?
Yeah, all those
How?
heroes are like not naturally in my sphere of play, so I decided to learn them and
Hold on.
lost me a lot of MMR.
I can understand a low broodmother win rate. It requires a lot of teamwork and a game plan, and you can't always execute that by yourself, right? I understand a low
Yeah.
Kunkka win rate. The hero is like very, very sine wavy up and down, pardon the pun. How the fuck do you only win 30% of your Viper games?
I don't know.
That's it's
It says
it's
I
Viper.
have a
It's dude, it's Viper. Like you just fucking play the hero.
yeah. It says I have a 2.08 KDA, which is one of my worst heroes. I don't know. I mean, I was just playing offlane Viper. I couldn't tell you. I mean, the sample size isn't great. It's only 10 games, so
It's fair.
who knows? But I was going the build the Cuckoo was going at the Animator, so I felt like it was good. And you know what? Probably what it is it doesn't fit the normal pub game layout, right? Your offlaner is supposed to be a hero. Glowy Cuckoo plays offlane Viper. He becomes like a semi-carry, right?
Mhm.
He doesn't build like utility items. He doesn't go Guardian Greaves. He doesn't go Rod of Atos, right? He goes like Hurricane Pike or Dragonlance BKB, right? So in that regard, he's just a right clicker. So if I do that, if I pick that, and when I do pick it, I always first pick it. The problem's going to be is that the rest of my teammates aren't going to compensate for that. No one's going to be like, oh, he's playing Viper. We need initiation. I should pick Clockwork 4. They're not going to do that. They're just going to pick whatever hero they already had in mind to pick, which is fair. I can't really blame them too much for that. So, I'm learning Viper. They're going to play the hero that they wanted to play in the first place, and we end up losing together. It is what it is.
um I've been having a strong play. Like I think that my reward for finishing up setting everything in my living situation is going to be to take a half day at least and play Dota. There's like
Fun.
6 to 12 games in my immediate future that like I've just been craving. Like I haven't been craving in a minute. And the longer that I'm putting off scratching that itch, the more that I actually just really want to sit down and play.
Are you play carry, right?
Yeah. In
Um,
order, it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 2.
let's see. I'm trying to look at my most successful heroes. Lycan feels pretty good. I need to say, I played an offlane Lycan, and I was just like, why do more people not play this? I felt so strong. My lord,
I want to play
that hero
Luna
feels
before
really
they
good.
nerf her a little bit because
Sure.
I'm inherently a Luna player. So like this, in a world where I was still trying to grind MMR, this probably would have been a very good patch for me.
Yeah. I have a Morphling game recently.
Oh,
I've only played 2 games of Morphling in Dota 2. Played a little bit in Dota 1. In Dota 2, I only have 2 games. Last game I played was like 2014 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I played it just yesterday. And the reason I played it is because Slacks wanted to duo queue and he wanted to try something. He had an idea. He said, "This is broken." And of course, like I can judge just writing it. Like he writes it down, I look at it on paper, I'm like, this is not broken, but let's do it anyway. I played Morphling off lane, and he played Techies 4. And I got an Aghanim Scepter and a Shard, and he got a Shard. And we both just would blast off into team fights together. It was like Team Rocket blasting off again.
I think he just wanted to make content. It sounds like he had a YouTube video idea.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, no, I also legitimately think, like, he thinks blast off is broken, and the Shard makes it even more broken.
What does
Therefore,
the shard do for
a
everybody
hero
who-
that can also do it. The Shard gives it a stun, a 1.75 second stun, on top of the silence that it does, and then it also increases like the cast range by a lot. Honestly, it doesn't do that much for how unreliable of a stun it is. 1.75 seconds is not that much.
Wouldn't stacking the stun be at the same time that does the silence start after the stun stops? Because then you're just having a shorter silence time, right?
No, it starts at the same time. It's just like, okay, so it lasts 7 seconds, but 1.75 of that they're also stunned. It's a way to think about it, right?
Okay.
So instead of just them being silenced for 7 seconds. So it's it was fun. We won. We're just double blast offing all the time. But AUI put it no, definitely not. AUI put it a good way in a group Discord that we have. He said, yeah, I really want my carry losing 50% of his HP at the start of a fight. That sounds like a great idea. And let me just say, as a bad Morphling player, it was very hard to play.
Morphling is... I think I can play every carry except for Morphling. My Terrorblade isn't great since they changed him like 3-4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know that my Terrorblade isn't good anymore because I haven't really played him, but I'm pretty sure that I can play any carry that is not Morphling because I'm also confident that I only have like less than 5 games on Morphling.
No, it says I'm played 40 games in 729 of Techies. And I actually have above 50% win rate. So I honestly, where did all my MMR go?
Dude, those
where
Viper
the fuck
games.
did it go,
Those
Joey?
The Viper games.
It was that and the Hoodwink. I was trying to learn Hoodwink, and that I'm a good Hoodwink now, but I still can't win. I don't know what it is. That hero's broken, and I play it well, but I just can't win.
Broken because you need setup. Like, there's probably just a coordination thing that Hoodwink really thrives under, right? It's one of those heroes
Maybe,
that does much
kinda.
better with proper team fight instead of, an Invoker can style regardless, but a Hoodwink like needs some setup.
Yeah. Also, one of the aspects of Hoodwink that's really broken in professional matches is the fact that it can play side lanes by itself and not be in any danger. And so the map pressure that is put on the map has a big impact in professional matches. In pub matches, not so much. So, yeah. Yeah.
Man. Did your laundry stop?
All right. No, not yet. It's still going on.
Okay.
You wanna bring this one home because I gotta read this 4-paragraph long email.
That's exciting.
It's burning a hole in my pocket. It's burrowing into my brain. I need to know what this email says.
We're going to be back next week on time.
Yes.
I'm going to upload this audio immediately. My setup is going to look different. And so is Cal's because he's going to get a camera, which we should totally talk about, by the way, because we're the same camera now.
Yay.
I have some tips and tricks. Also, thank you, everybody, for being here because we probably don't thank you enough. Sorry for being late. If you're my mom, you'd be like, "Oh,
We're
that's
sorry."
That's pretty standard of you, Joey. You're fucking late to everything." Blah 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 blah. God.
Yeah, Joey.